So we've been working the last couple of years to develop a new wader, utilizing that patented sonic seam technology that we have, and we're getting ready to, after months and months of field testing, to introduce the new silver sonic waders, which are kind of the culmination of a number of years of work. These waders represent a real innovation for us. We developed this patented process of putting waders together, and the one thing that I'm probably the most proud about this wader is this sonic welded technology. Well, the really cool thing about the sonic welding is that the moment the wader is built, when the seam is actually constructed, it's immediately waterproof. So when you sew a seam together, you're punching holes in it with the needle, and you've got to go back and tape it and to get it to be waterproof. Well, we don't have to do that with these. So we have a much higher level of inherent durability and waterproofness in the seam right from the beginning. Once we figured out the welding piece of the puzzle, then we went and we started to attack the features. Convertible top, so it goes from chest to waist high without taking the suspension off. Water-resistant front pocket for accessories, fly boxes, gadgets, and gizmos. Internal waterproof pocket for phones, cameras, and keys. Integrated belt loops. Self-fabric gravel guards with mesh drain panel on the back to allow the water to come out. And then left and right sculpted neoprene booties for true fit. This is a culmination of a number of years of work. So for me personally, this is kind of something I can hang my hat on and say, next time I'm out in the river and I see somebody wearing these and fishing and having a good time, I can say, hey, I made those waders, and I'm really proud of that.
I'm Steve Hemkins. I'm the lead product developer at Orvis, and I just got done fishing 5 days on the Florida Gulf Coast for tarpon. One of the most rewarding things about my job is actually to get to go out fishing with the products that I'm involved with developing and bringing to the market. And so maybe 3-4 years ago I came down here with the prototype of the Mirage reel and fished hard for 5 or 6 days and put a lot of big fish in the air, left the reel down here, had it fished for the entire tarpon season, and it performed flawlessly. Brought it to market last year. It's got a season and a half of really hard use and a variety of big game fishing situations, and it was awesome to come back another year for the 3rd year and fish with this reel and just pull hard on some big fish. Turning fish with straight 60-knot fishing IGFA, blowing up rods, losing fly lines, popping, breaking hooks, and the reel never missed a lick when it was pulling 10 or 12 pounds of drag. The drag knob is really is indexed and has positive clicks in the incoming and the outgoing. Doesn't take more than a revolution to drag to get it from free spool to what you would consider like boat side fighting drag for a fish 8-10 pounds, and so gives you a lot of flexibility if the fish goes under the boat or goes under the trim tabs and you need to back the drag off. One of the coolest things about the relationships that I built in the industry is my buddy, who's a guide in the Panhandle, had Dr. Jerry Alt from the University of Miami, who's a marine biologist, out within the past 2 weeks, and they were out and they tagged and released a 192-pound fish that they fought for over 2 hours, and they put a state-of-the-art real-time GPS tracking system in the fish and let it go, and it's uploading data on a regular basis, and that was something that was caught on a reel that I developed.
I think without a doubt, dry fly fishing is the true, pure form of fly fishing.
Watching him eat, that fly lands, it's in the lane, he eats it. You know, I think the ultimate way to catch fish with a fly rod is with a dry fly.
The Missouri is where people go to fish dry flies. It is dry fly fishing at its finest.
I think Craig, Montana is definitely one of the trout bum capitals of the world.
This thing's a trout factory.
The size of the fish taking dry flies,
Super prolific, hatches.
the number of fish per mile, it's tough to compare it with any other stream in the West.
You know, it'll humble you. I mean, I get humbled all the time here.
It can test the mettle of any angler out there. It can be the most technical.
The Missouri can be a cruel mistress, that's for sure.
I have no shortage of stories of getting my balls kicked under the mouth.
You might have to swallow a little pride there, but what you will see, you'll remember forever.
I love trying that challenge of catching a big fish on a tiny dry.
It's the nose coming out of the water and sucking a fly down. It's one of the coolest things you could see.
These are hot fish when you put that hook in them. I mean, he goes absolutely bananas.
You know, it's the technical dry fly fishing that's the draw to the Missouri.
I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Like I said, I came here, I never left. Be careful who you bring here. Don't bring your young children here, or your teenagers here, because you might alter their life, and you know they're not going to become a doctor and an attorney if they get hooked on this deal. It's game over.
Learn to fly fish on the Orvis free Fly Fishing Learning Center with extensive video lessons, flashcards, a wealth of detailed articles, podcasts on fly fishing, even fun quizzes. No matter what you want to chase with a fly rod, there are lessons available. Trout, bass, pike, steelhead, salmon, and saltwater species. Learn how to cast a fly and the basic knots. Learn how to present your fly, how to read a trout stream. It's all there in full HD video.
It's not a hobby. It's a metal vise surrounded by elk hair, peacock feathers, and rabbit fur. Its fly lines cracked from reckless overuse. Its teeth chipped from gnawing on fluorocarbon. Its skin split by calluses filled with superglue. Its sun-bleached hat brims smeared with salty sweat lines. Its loose threads hanging from sun visors, scarred from countless barbs. No, it's not a hobby. It's a way of life.
Welcome to the Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing. I'm your host, Tom Rosenbauer, and for the next 13 episodes, we're going to show you how to catch fish on a fly rod all across North America. We're going to have a lot of fun teaching you. I hope you enjoy it as well. That's a nice bass. Smallmouth bass. Love them. There we go. Hey.
Yeah!
Way to react.
The Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing is a revolutionary new television series that teaches novice fly fishers the basics needed to get started. Hosted by respected author and instructor Tom Rosenbauer, the Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing gives anglers all the essential facts needed for all species in all waters. Bass,
Come on up, baby. Yeah! Nothing better than a largemouth bass on a fly.
stripers,
Fight them.
trout,
Maybe get a double muscle.
bonefish, cold water, warm water,
Yes!
even saltwater. No matter what species you want to catch, this 13-part series covers it all. Beautifully shot throughout North American high definition, this series highlights the best of fly fishing and the natural appeal of the outdoors. The Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing is structured much like a good educational book.
Now you can do it with a single-handed rod. You can do it with a switch rod, like I have here.
Segments focus on critical fly fishing tools such as understanding retrieves and casts, equipment choices, knots and how to tie them, fly pattern choices and why needed, presentation techniques, and much, much more.
And the way to mend is to lift the line off the water and break that line-water tension.
Of course, the basic understanding of fish is also examined, such as feeding patterns, forage preferences, and where fish live in both rivers and lakes. Stunning HD underwater videography is combined with highly detailed 3D animations to help accurately explain the key facts of fly fishing. Unique to this series, Tom compares conventional tackle fishing with fly fishing.
But the essence is the same. You've got a lure that looks like a bait fish, and you're moving it through the water.
To help anglers understand the similarities and differences. To truly help people make a direct connection to how fly fishing works. The Orvis Guide to Fly Fishing, hosted by Tom Rosenbauer. There's never been a fishing show like this before. A series that teaches people all the essentials they need to get started in fly fishing.
Kevin, I'm always pushing your boat. All I do is push your boat around.